Okay, good evening, everyone. Today's date is the 1st of June, 2025, and it feels like there's been a huge shift, and we're in the middle of it, or the ending of it, of the shift, of a particular shift. I don't know what's going on astrologically, but that's how it feels to me. And the time is 7:31, and these sessions are the Pleiadian Sunday school sessions, as they call them, that were originally at 3 p.m. Irish time, but changed to 7 p.m. Irish time. There is a couple of things that I would like to cover today. One is the situation in Ireland. That I don't know too much about, but I'm hoping that Dennis and Christy will give us some information about that to do with the protests and things. I saw a post earlier um, where there's 29 days of protests consecutively in different areas, cities in Ireland that are happening now. But we will begin with Dennis saying the prayers. Oh, and before that, let me just remind everyone that strictly speaking, today's week 11 on your galactic soul self. I've got a feeling that that might not happen in a download or channeling or transmission, but we'll see what they want to bring through. I feel like we all need to be kind of more gentle on ourselves with the energy shifts. And they've been saying for a while that the 6 months is very important. So here we are on the first day of the 6 months. So we'll see what occurs. And internationally, it feels that that's how, when they've been saying about the 6 months, it feels like an event that will be known across the earth. So Dennis, would you be okay to begin with the prayers?
Yes, I will say the law of one prayer. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done. It is so. I'll repeat it 2 more times. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks that this is done. It is so. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks that this is done. It is so. I am prayer. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I'll repeat it 2 more times. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the truth. I am the love. I am. Okay.
Thank you, Dennis Mulcahy. We have so much love for you in the extreme of that. Now would be such a good time for you to cleanse your energies physically in sea water or oceans. We were gently laughing when Soma said that just now, earlier. Because she gave advice to help that would be good for herself too. And so many of you, this bathing, this cleansing would be so good to refresh your auric fields, renew, cleansing the old, purifying, and stepping into the new, lighter energies. Jesus is very present this evening. So many of you have a have a direct connection to him and other beings like the LOM. and other beings like dragons and even unicorns, dare we say the word, for fear of, not fear, but ridicule of those that target the love and light brigade. And yet so many of you have been having experiences of these unicorns and dragons since you were children. These are not mere fantasies, these are memories. Memories of some of the living, breathing beings that were on your planet at one point in your history. There were unicorns in physical form. There were dragons in physical form. There were other beings in physical form. All of these beings, or some, or the majority of these beings, but especially we are speaking of the unicorns and the dragons. There came a time upon your planet when these beings had a choice to make. They could either be wiped out and made extinct by negative forces, or they could leave and enter into a higher dimension, and that is what they chose to do. But we've said before, and many people will laugh, ridicule, and struggle with this information, but we've said before that dragons, that Jesus had physical dragons during his lifetime. We stand by this. Your religions back in history were created by negative alien races to control humanity en masse. And it has done its job well. It has led humanity to believe that Jesus is unreachable, unobtainable by the masses. That is not how things are. At all. we would like to pause there and invite Christy.
Thank you, Soma. I will bring forward Renturis, and I will allow him to give an update on what's being said. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Oh. Yes, this is Renturis Valantrius. Again, greetings to you all. It's a pleasure to be with you, among you, once again. I have been listening to your conversations. It is interesting that you bring this discussion up, which is what you call awakening, let's say. The impact the situation on your planet is having on the collective is quite noticeable. We are beginning to see a shift in pockets of your planet. For Chris, his country, Ireland, it is interesting also to watch. But I want to say something to you that I have said to Christy some time ago, just to make you aware. It is important to discuss these issues. They do play a part in your community. They play a part in your family. And they do have an impact on you emotionally. But I have asked Christy on many occasions to be conscious, to be aware as to what he's downloading. To be more aware of what he is viewing, listening to. As this does have an impact on our connection, our vibration. And I don't mean just now, as he has chosen to allow me to come forward, but in general, when you decide to open up a conversation that is of low frequency, be aware that it is impacting, one's frequency and vibration. I am aware it is a topic that can be explored, but when you come together to bring forward what you see as light, this has a ripple effect for us and for you. Your situation, of course, is, we would say, quite serious at this time.
Is it okay if I please ask some questions?
Yes, please do.
because thank you. And normally I wouldn't, but this is such a big multi-layered. I think that there's so much going on here in a bigger picture. And I come from a very traditional Irish family. And so I have a lot of values and beliefs that were instilled in me from my granddad, from the world of
Yeah.
spirit, from a young age. And I noticed that when I moved back to Ireland in, I think it was 2020, there seemed to be I was pretty upset at the time because I saw a lack of Irish spirit, which goes back thousands of generations. And I was seeing a bigger picture where the people had been dismantled, disbanded, and were consenting to things that they never would have consented. It was like watching a scenario from Native American or sacred people that had been invaded and taken over. And I'm just starting to see, and that really shook me to my core because it was like the Irish spirit was gone. People had given up. People had given in to the government, the rules, the laws, the regulations. And the history of Ireland seemed to have been pointless, to have gotten to the place it did in 2020. And now I'm seeing a uprising again of sacred people. Is that
Yes. Yes,
where, yeah.
yes, please continue.
Well, I was just going to ask because I saw something today where I saw some of that Celtic Irish wild spirit, lion energy returning to Ireland. This does have a bigger picture because, in my understanding, Atlantis was very much part of Ireland with sacred people, and Atlantis was invaded by negative alien reptilians who created the church and the hold over humanity and have targeted several populations of sacred people, not just the Irish, but the sacred Native Americans, the Maori, the Indians, the Africans, the Irish, the Celtic, the Scottish, even to the Gypsies, the travelers. So, and the spirit has been wounded. You now have
Yes.
addictions in Native American. You now have addictions everywhere, but especially with the sacred people, such as in Ireland with alcohol and also drugs, and also in Native America on the reservations. There are problems now that would never have been there before if they had not been targeted by the white man. So what is happening to the Irish people? Are we rising up again?
Well, we could say that the Irish people are beginning to see something within themselves. And that's something we would call maybe a spark of light that is beginning to awaken many of your family in that country called Ireland. But let me say something to you. What you just described is very, very true, and it has gone on for a very long time. You are beginning to witness it now in Ireland because you have come home from another country and you're beginning to sense really now that the Irish are beginning to understand that they're being led down the wrong path. That is very real. We see this not just in your country, we see it across Europe. We see it in all pockets of your planet. So what does it take for one to understand that there is something wrong. What you've described is very, very true. You're beginning now to see, many are beginning to realize that there is something wrong. And that has shaken, we would say, many of the collective to the core, where they realize that people that they looked up to, which are your government officials, have led them astray for various reasons. Now, when you speak of Atlantis, again, that gives you some insight as to what happened then. And it has continued. It never stopped. It was just out of your awareness. But now that it's on your doorstep, you're beginning to realize this is going to affect me. So this is why I ask you to be careful in a way that will allow you to understand that your mission on Earth at this specific time is quite interesting. Because you have been chosen to come forward to speak on the behalf of the Galactic Federation. And yes, give the message to the collective, to the people that want to come forward and listen, that there is something coming and can't be stopped.
Forgive me.
So no matter what happens by the powers to be on your planet, let me make it clear, it can't be stopped what's coming. So the impact of that situation, of course, is going to affect many, emotionally and physically. I see that. But we
Forgive
have to allow, no, you don't
No,
need to,
I was going
please.
to ask another question.
Yes, please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Renturus. So I was going to ask, could you please explain, because I am still not understanding the difference between when I'm not channeling, I'm not understanding the difference between the Galactic Federation of Light and the Galactic Federation. Is there a difference? Is one good? Is one bad?
There is many galactic alliances that have decided to come forward and make themselves aware, not just of the situation that is playing out on your planet, but we also have situations ourselves that we are dealing with. And there is many groups that come forward similar to your situation on Earth to try and resolve and negotiate. So for you personally, you are connected to many different races. You bring forward the Ashtar command because of your relationship. But as you have spoken, you now sense that there is other energies that would like to speak. This does not surprise me or surprise us. We see that there is many waiting to speak through you. And this one here, Chris is aware of this, but he chose to bring my energy forward because of our relationship. That is perfectly fine. We are okay with that. I will give the same message. So it's understanding that you now stand for many, like many of you in the audience. Why have you chosen to come into this call? Think about that for a second. Why have you come forward to sit and listen to Soma or to me? There is a knowing within you all that there's something that I need to explore. And that something is self. We have touched on this in the past, and we can go over it again because there is many layers to this situation. We can see what's happening around you. I can see the impact it can have on you. But it's important that one is prepared, one is ready, one is able.
Please, can you
That
speak
is,
to that impact?
well, the impact can come in many ways. I mean, your situation at the moment in your country of Ireland is beginning to get noticed around the world. There's different countries beginning to ask questions. What is happening to that sacred land that you speak of? Be aware that these plans have been put in place a long time. This is not something that just has brewed up overnight. You were aware that it is. But for many in your government, and they're beginning to understand, not just in your country, but across your planet, they're sensing something. They're sensing a rise in the collective that can't be stopped.
It is
Remember, many of you have come forward for this time. You came in knowing that you would be needed at this time. You would be needed, but at this specific time, you would be needed more. So you would have the voice to share and allow the people who are willing to listen to understand their greatness. So having that awareness sometimes is difficult because there's a lot happening at once. Your social media outlets continue to bombard the collective with garbage. Everything is a distraction for a reason. They don't want you going into silence, going into your meditations. Why? Because they are fearful of what you will find within yourself. This is what we are seeing. This ripple effect that is affecting many. The conversations you and your viewers are having with family and friends. There is so much on the table as we speak. It's not just happening on your planet, it's happening off your planet. And we're talking about disclosure. I will just leave it with that word, disclosure. So your governments have a lot to lose. They are scared. They are afraid. They understand what is happening. And they know it can't be stopped. So understanding sometimes can be a challenge because you are understanding the idea of many situations that are playing out and the impact they are having on you emotionally. What can you do? So everybody brings something forward, and we mean everybody, including the dark. That is why we are in this situation at this time. So do understand that we bow to all of you for what you were doing. We bow to all of you. We understand how difficult it is. And we can't solve the problem overnight. You are aware of this. And they won't. Because it takes it back to you, not you personally, but it takes it back to the individual that is willing to do the push-ups. We can hear somebody laughing in the audience, but we gave this to Chris a long time ago. It was interesting watching his response. You have to meet us halfway. Not easy. We understand. But do you understand where you came from? Some of you are aware and some is not, and that's perfectly okay. That is not a judgment.
At this point, Ranchurus, I feel like I need to, and I know I'm not alone in this feeling, and I feel like I need to armor up and
Yes. It may get to that point. We don't want to scare anybody, but you can see what is playing out. Not just in your country, but across the globe. We are supporting many. We won't go into too much detail, but we are aware what is playing out. But there is only so much we will do and can do. You all have free will. You all had soul contracts coming in for various reasons. That is why we are having this conversation. That is why you have come into the call. Because that knowing is within you all. Is there something I can do? Yes, there is. There's something you can do for yourself first. And that is understand that you are a beautiful being of light that has come in to have an experience on earth. And now it's becoming quite challenging, as you've just pointed out. Do I need to arm myself up? There is situations on your planet that is quite disturbing. You see this on a day-to-day basis. If you watch what the media is pumping out. So I will leave and ask you to be aware. It is important that you sense what is happening. It will give you some understanding as to how you can respond and act to yourself before you offer support to others. Mm. Yes. This is an interesting conversation, and it has many layers, as you have said. And I'm always glad to be part of it. I find the human experience quite interesting. And that is one of the reasons why Chris decided to come back. Mm. So thank you, dear one. Thank you all for allowing me to share I won't take up too much of your time. It has been again a pleasure connecting with you all. I will go now, but I will remain in the background. Please call on me, Renturus Avalantrios, until we connect again, dear ones. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. And thank you, Christy Clark, for channeling Renturus. That was really beautiful. And I know that so many people needed to hear that, including myself. And we have some new people joining us this evening. Heather, sorry, the captions are actually covering your name, but Heather. And also we had Chloe earlier, but Chloe's dropped out. So Sheila Tillich, who very much embodies the galactic grandmother energy and channels those energies as well, if I'm correct in saying, is going to do a channeling as well.
All right. Thank you, Soma. All right. Dear children of the light, we are here, your galactic star mothers, grandmothers, and your galactic family who are all around you at this time. Dear ones, we'd like to come through to give you as much encouragement during this time and also hope for the future, for this is the time that your souls have been waiting for. Each and every one of you plan this incarnation. Yes, you came to incarnate in this lifetime, and yes, contracts. We also would like to share that your contract can be changed very quickly, and it does very often, because you see, your name was written in invisible ink, meaning as you are ascending, you have a choice. You have so many choices. And this is a time of great evolvement, a great awakening, of great challenges and obstacles. But we would like to leave you with great hope for why you are here. You are here specifically to do the work as a light being, a divine light being from the galactic stars. And each and every lifetime that you've had has given you the wisdom that you have today. And yes, that awakening is your multidimensional connection to us. Your beautiful, multidimensional DNA, that 24th chromosome, which allows you to connect with us, with each other, and also to share your life and the universal coherent field of collectivity. You are all connected. Sheila B. and Soma met through the universe. They were brought forward from their connection in Lemuria as Pleiadians. Yes. Every single one of you have a connection with many, many star beings. And you are awakening at this time to stand in your power of who you are as a light being, of being awakened to do the work that your soul has been waiting to do. And now, during this quantum time of awakening. It is a powerful time. And yes, it is a scary time. Many of you think of it as shadow work and the fear that comes through. But dear ones, you have learned so much wisdom in all the lifetimes to understand this is part of your moving forward. This is part of facing your fears and shining your light. No matter what you have to go through in this lifetime or continuing, you will continue to shine. For you are made of love, pure, divine, majestic love. That is the connection of your DNA blueprint from the stars. Your Pleiadian mothers that gave you the DNA that you have now, and all the other planets that you ascended from. So when we talk about the galactic ancestors, we talk about all of your connections to who you are. You're divine beings. And yes, many of you are just awakening. And many of you have been on this path a long time. For this is what you're here to do. To stand in your multidimensional frequency of love, to share the light, to heal yourself from all the fears that may be triggered during this time. And yes, many triggers, but you will survive, and humanity will survive. And this is a glorious time for planet Earth, and glorious time for the universe. For we have waited for you to get to this time right now. And we are so grateful for each and every one of you, and for you to know that you are never, ever alone. Just quiet yourself. Go within inside and ask us to come, and we will. It's all about your intention, dear ones. Connecting with the divine is who you are, and you have the power. We will turn it back over to our dear Soma. We love you, Soma, and Sheila B loves you. And so it is. Here we go. Woo!
Oh, woo!
Woo!
That was
I love
beautiful.
it. I love
as we have shared. But when we speak about psychic attacks and we speak about how we try and handle those situations, when you know that you can't be touched, you're a multidimensional being down here on earth having a human experience, and you're untouchable. Doesn't matter who it is, if it's an entity coming in, a dark entity, you have the power within yourself to tell that entity to leave your energy field. You have no right to be here. I did not invite you in. I'm asking you now to leave. Now, it goes very much for the collective on earth. If we use the protection that's given to us, very, very simple. We all have the technique. When we apply, we are untouchable. Sometimes the mind is triggered, I understand that, by fear. It's a tool that has been used for thousands of years, and they continue to push it in our direction. But if you just sit back and be the observer and watch what's playing out, you will understand that yes, as the last speaker, Sheila channeled, we came in knowing that it wasn't going to be easy down here on earth. We are all going to be tested. And that's what's happening at the moment. So it is quite easy for me to verbalize that, and I do understand that it's sometimes not as simple as putting those principles in place. But on a personal level, there's an inner knowing within us all. We are untouchable. It's as simple as that. They will drive fear on a day-to-day basis to take you out of that mindset. But again, that's just another illusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
I was just going to say, yeah, I agree with that. But I think one of the problems we're experiencing is basically fears are connected to these physical bodies. Like our spirits are above this. We're kind of untouchable in some ways, our spirits, but this connection to this physicality, these physical bodies, it's almost like it becomes a challenge to try to overcome those fears. It's like, if we could separate, our spirits from our bodies, then it'd be a lot easier. But that's part of this whole classroom. It's coming into this physical matrix to experience these fears and then overcoming them. So in other words, it's part of the curriculum. That's kind of how I see it.
As somebody mentioned earlier on, I think it was Sam, and he spoke about his meditations and his time of removing the mind. That is something that we all focus on, is removing that aspect. Very, very difficult. The thoughts will continue to come in. We will continue to analyze. We will move on to the next thought. We will move on to the next thought. But be aware of the thought. Where is the thought coming from? And a lot of the time, that's where we get caught in the headlights. We consume ourselves with irrational thoughts. And we become trapped in that wonderful world called fear. As Ranturas had said to me, please be aware of what's coming from above, not in here. This is just going to cause you friction. We'll still get through to you, okay? We want you to be aware of that. So that is something that I try and observe. Now, it's very, very difficult because sometimes we like the gossip. But the gossip sometimes can be difficult. It can be quite heavy. When we look as to what's playing out on a day-to-day basis, just across our social media, it's in your face. They want you to see it. They want you to feel it. That is why it's happening. I do understand, Robert, how difficult it is. And it's something that I haven't mastered by no means. I'm still quite fragile myself. I can get caught very, very easily. I can have that psychological war with myself through thought. I'm aware of that. It's all part of being human. So it's just trying to be mindful and be aware. And sometimes, as Sam said, silence is the key. Just be the observer, as Renturas would say. Yeah, it's okay for Renturas to give me that update, but it's not that easy when you're down here and you're in the thick of it and you're watching it play out. The vibration and the frequency is having an impact. We do understand that. He is aware of that, but it's knowing our greatness and knowing that we have done this many, many times before. This is not our first time. We've had these experiences many times, they have been more difficult. And that is why, as Dolores Cannon said, the 3 waves of volunteers is me, you, and everybody in the audience that has come forward to say, yes, I'll come back and I'll support Gaia and whoever else I can. So the bottom line is it's an inside job. We all know that. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter where we look. We can look at the signposts that's all around us, but there comes a time where we're going to go into that silence and try and understand, what is this about? Why am I here? Why did I choose to come back in? And those questions sometimes are difficult to answer because the conditioned mind has taken us on a roller coaster. And now we're trying to find our way back. And we're being hit by all these obstacles that are put in place for a reason. And they're only a distraction. That's all. And sometimes the distractions are quite difficult to accept because when we look and we see the pain that's inflicted, we go, oh my God, is that actually possible? Yes, it's playing out. Was it part of their soul contract? I can't answer that at the moment, but my opinion would be they chose that experience. Horrific. But it's all part of where we are. It's all part of the journey of where we're going. And as Rantour has said, there's no stopping it. It can't be stopped. And we're right here. We have front row seats and we're watching it play out. But it's important because we are needed. We are needed for ourselves and we're needed for loved ones that are around us trying to understand what is happening. And that is why the Galactics have come forward and given us that mission as ambassadors on Earth to hold the light. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So I was just typing a message there to everyone that I'd like to wrap up at 9 o'clock because we started at 7. So, and I think that might be an ongoing thing unless we do it before 9 o'clock. So is there anything else anyone would like to share, to say, or do?
Well, thank you for all the channelings from Renturis and Sheila and you. It was very beautiful, and we are ambassadors of Earth, and I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone.
I can, when I'm channeling the Pleiadians and Ashtar, I can never say strongly enough the change that we are in. It is, the words don't come close to describing how monumental, powerful, epic, extreme, such an evolutionary period we're in this lifetime now. So perhaps we do need to armor up a little bit more. Perhaps we do need to take charge a little bit more. Perhaps we do need to, all the upgrades that seem to be happening naturally from the Galactics and the Star Nations and the Pleiadians and Jesus himself. Perhaps we've needed and do still need all those upgrades and positive implants to assist us as human beings, as hybrids, to win this spiritual warfare, as Sheila was saying earlier in a message, because it is, and it's galactic, it's universal, it is, we're not alone, you know, we've never been alone, and this war between light and dark, and I understand that at the highest level that all is one and there is no separation between the light and dark, and yet here we are in a physical body as starseeds, as hybrids, where we're more aware of certain things, of ships above us, ships outside our window, and light beings in our rooms and our houses and our gardens and our spaces. We're more empathic to and more sensitive to energies and what's going on, and entities, and the more aware of the positive energies as well as the negative energies. So perhaps it is time to step up, not just with the upgrades and not just in our own energy bodies, but bring that in a more physical presence into 3D, and that's a lot of what my mission has been, is to anchor those energies down in a spiral down through the center, the core of my bodies, and into the in a very public way into the 3D. So and that's been very challenging, because as a child I was much more in the spirit world than I was here. So it's been the challenge for me within that, and that's not something that I would choose on the 3D level, but that's something that I was contracted myself in to do that, like so many of us, including everyone in this room now. We all were contracted to be part of this movement, this uprising of humanity, human ET. Let me pause there, because Christy, you have your hand up. Thank you, Sheila. I didn't notice.
I have my hand up because I have to leave now, and I have an appointment at 9 o'clock. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone in the audience. It was a pleasure meeting you and connecting with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this. And especially this evening, I think it was needed by so many. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, 7 p.m. Irish time, on Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, lots of love to everyone.
Thank you so
Love and
much.
light, sweetheart.
See you.